Samantha deserved that crown. And I am absolutely losing my mind over this drama. I'm sorry, but this episode of Beyond the Gates actually stressed me out in ways I was not emotionally prepared for. Like, I sat down expecting elegance, glamour, rich people drama, pretty dresses, maybe a few shady comments here and there, and instead I got emotional warfare, classism, sabotage theories, possible kidnapping energy, and one of the most frustrating disappearances I've seen in a long time. And can we talk about Samantha for a second? Because I genuinely feel protective over this girl at this point. I've been watching her try so hard to carry herself with grace while people continuously attack her existence. And honestly, I don't know how she hasn't exploded yet. Because Emmy, I would have snapped 3 episodes ago. The debutante gala was supposed to be Samantha's moment, her night, the culmination of everything she's been working toward as one of the honored platinum debs. This should have been beautiful, emotional, triumphant. Instead, the entire atmosphere felt like a ticking time bomb because Anastasia simply cannot handle the fact that Samantha belongs in that family. And that is the core issue, isn't it? Not manners, not tradition, not protecting standards. It's elitism, it's bitterness. It's insecurity disguised as superiority. Anastasia keeps attacking Samantha's background as if being adopted somehow makes her less than, and I'm sorry, but that woman is becoming unbearable to watch. The Dupree family has embraced Samantha. Nicole defended Samantha. The family itself acknowledges her place among them. Yet Anastasia refuses to accept it because in her mind, bloodline equals worth. That is such an ugly mentality. And what makes it worse is that Samantha consistently behaves with more class, kindness, and emotional maturity than the people insulting her. Isn't that ironic? The people screaming about high society are acting the absolute lowest. Last week's verbal attack against Samantha honestly made my blood boil. Anastasia's comments were cruel, degrading, and completely unnecessary. I'm still sitting here asking myself why nobody has seriously checked her behavior yet. Because if this club is supposed to represent dignity and refinement, then why is Anastasia still standing there throwing venom every chance she gets? And don't even get me started on Chessie. Look, I tried. I really tried to stay neutral with Chessie for a while because sometimes these younger characters are influenced by the toxic adults around them. But at some point, accountability matters. The arrogance coming from both Anastasia and Chessie is exhausting. They walk around acting like they're royalty while Samantha, the so-called outsider, is the one actually showing compassion and humility. The irony is insane. And then came the absolute disaster of Donnell disappearing before the performance. Oh my God. This is where the episode shifted from messy gala drama into full psychological chaos for me because nothing about Donnell's absence feels normal. Nothing. Donnell promised Samantha he would be there. That's important. This wasn't some casual event he could skip. Samantha was emotionally depending on him during one of the most important nights of her life. So when he suddenly vanished without warning, no calls, no messages, nobody can reach him. Yeah, immediately my brain went into panic mode because there are only a few explanations here, and honestly, all of them are terrifying. The first thing I thought was accident. I know some viewers may think Donnell simply bailed, but I do not buy that. Not even for a second. His absence felt wrong in a deeper way. The fact that Vanessa also couldn't reach Deanna at the same time made everything feel even more suspicious. That detail is important. The show did not include that by accident. Something happened. And while everybody was panicking, trying to figure out where Donnell was, Anastasia standing there looking smug absolutely sent me over the edge. Did anyone else notice that expression on her face? Because I almost screamed at my screen. Samantha is visibly distressed. People are confused. Vanessa is worried sick, and Anastasia is practically enjoying it. That is insane behavior. Instead of showing basic human empathy, she immediately used Samantha's panic as another opportunity to humiliate her. The sarcasm, the smugness, the little cutting remarks, it felt so calculated, like she was waiting for this moment. Which leads me to the theory I cannot stop thinking about. What if Anastasia did do something to Donnell? I know that sounds dramatic, but this show thrives on dramatic secrets and manipulations, so honestly, nothing feels impossible anymore. And the more I think about Anastasia's obsession with destroying Samantha's confidence, the more suspicious her behavior becomes. Because, let's be honest, who benefits most from Samantha failing publicly? Anastasia. Who desperately wants Chessie to outshine Samantha? Anastasia. Who has been openly furious that Nicole defended Samantha? Anastasia. So, yes, my conspiracy brain immediately activated. What if she arranged for Donnell to be delayed? What if she intercepted him somehow? What if she manipulated someone else into stopping him? What if there really was an accident? And, okay, I know this next theory sounds wild, but tell me this show wouldn't absolutely pull something like this. What if Donnell was intentionally lured somewhere? I'm serious. Because Anastasia feels like the type of character who believes the ends justify the means. She's so consumed by social status and winning that I honestly think she'd rationalize horrible behavior if it meant protecting the image she has in her head. And if Donnell disappearing means Samantha loses her spotlight, that's a victory in Anastasia's eyes. But here's where I think Anastasia may have made a huge mistake. Because Samantha's strength was never just about Donnell. It's about her character. And honestly, one of the most emotional parts of this whole storyline for me is the possibility that Tyrell steps in to help Samantha finish the presentation. If that happens, I might actually cry. I'm not even joking. Because that would symbolize everything Anastasia fails to understand. Family is not just blood. Love is not just status. Worth is not determined by lineage. Tyrell helping Samantha would represent loyalty, compassion, and genuine connection, all the things the elite characters keep pretending to value while completely failing to embody them. And let's be real, Samantha and Tyrell winning together would feel so satisfying. Not because they're perfect, but because they're good-hearted. They shine naturally while other people are forcing cruelty and manipulation. That contrast matters. Also, can we appreciate how Samantha continues carrying herself with dignity despite constantly being attacked? Because if somebody spent weeks insulting my upbringing and calling me unworthy, I would not be standing there smiling gracefully in a beautiful gown. I would be escorted out by security after flipping several tables. Samantha is stronger than me. Seriously. But okay, let's talk about the other possibility, because this is the theory that's haunting me the most. What if Anastasia actually has nothing to do with Donnell disappearing? What if the show wants us to suspect her? Because if that's true, then we may be heading toward something even darker. The mention of a possible family reunion, the lingering mystery surrounding Doug, the weird emotional undertones around Donnell lately, I don't think those details are random either. What if Donnell learned shocking information right before the gala? What if someone from his past appeared? What if Doug's supposed death isn't what people think it is? I swear this show loves dropping tiny clues that don't seem important until suddenly everything connects 3 episodes later and I'm sitting there looking like a conspiracy theorist with strings on a wall. And honestly, the Doug theory could change everything. Because if Doug is actually alive, or if there's some hidden truth connected to his death, that could explain why Donnell suddenly disappeared despite knowing how important this night was for Samantha. A personal emergency? A shocking revelation? A secret meeting? A confrontation? Something powerful enough to override his promise? But even if there's a good reason, I still feel devastated for Samantha because emotionally this moment must feel like abandonment. Imagine preparing for the biggest night of your life, already dealing with relentless judgment, and then the one person you were counting on suddenly vanishes. That pain on Samantha's face genuinely hurt to watch. And this is why I'm so emotionally attached to this storyline. Because beneath all the glamour and drama, there's something painfully relatable happening here. The desperate desire to belong. Samantha has been trying so hard to prove herself worthy in spaces where some people already decided she doesn't belong. That's heartbreaking, especially because she's actually one of the kindest people there. Meanwhile, Anastasia is proving that money and pedigree do not equal class. I said what I said. And honestly, if the writers are building toward Anastasia finally getting exposed publicly, I need that payoff injected directly into my bloodstream immediately. I need somebody to finally stand up in front of everybody and say enough is enough, because her obsession with tearing Samantha down is becoming pathological at this point. Also, tiny side note, Vanessa's panic felt very real to me. The fact that she couldn't reach either Donnell or Deanna makes me think there's a bigger story unfolding behind the scenes. I don't think these disappearances are isolated. Something feels connected here. And I swear, if this show ends up revealing some huge hidden family secret tied to the Golanite, I will actually lose my mind. This episode also reminded me why soap operas hit differently when they lean into emotional chaos instead of just random drama. The best moments aren't the fancy dresses or the glamorous parties. It's the emotional tension, the betrayal, the fear, the feeling that someone's entire world is collapsing in public while everybody watches. That's exactly what happened to Samantha. And somehow she still kept going. That's why I'm rooting for her so hard. Not because she's perfect, not because she's flawless, but because she keeps choosing grace in environments filled with cruelty. Meanwhile, Anastasia is out here acting like a Disney villain with a country club membership. I can't. And now I'm left with a million questions. Where is Donnell? Was this sabotage? Did Anastasia cross a line? Is Doug connected to this mystery? Will Samantha still find a way to win? And how much longer before somebody finally exposes the toxic elitism poisoning this entire circle? Because trust me, if Samantha ends up rising above all of this, despite the sabotage, the insults, the humiliation, and the emotional devastation, that crown will mean so much more. And honestly, she will have earned every single second of that victory.